On today's episode of the NASM CPT Podcast with me, Rick Richey, I explore my top 10 reasons to become a personal trainer. I take down the top 10 topics that are going to make this job worth doing as an occupation. I start with the number one thing that I've heard from every workshop, conference, and speaking engagement that I've ever had from trainers, and I bet you'll agree with number one. It's also so much more than a free gym membership, though, and no doubt that's a big reason why I started. So make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, and share with your fitness friends and family. Leave a 5-star review. Now, here's the episode on my top 10 reasons to become a personal trainer.
Welcome to the NASM CPT Podcast, winner of ShareCare and Gold Marcom Awards. Host and award-winning personal trainer and industry leader, Dr. Rick Richey delivers real-world wisdom and trusted insights that keep you and your clients thriving.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to the NASM CPT Podcast. My name is Rick Richey, and today I'm going to go over the top 10 reasons to become a personal trainer. Scratch that. My top 10 reasons. This isn't the top 10 reasons that have been based off of research and have gone through numerous different. No, this is me talking to you. And these are some of the things that I think are valuable, that I think are important, and the things that I get feedback on. So let's start with this. The number one thing, and this one, everything else is just kind of not in any type of order, but number one. And the reason I put it at number one is because I've spent years. I mean, at this point, I've worked with NASM. I mean, this is coming to the end of my second decade working with NASM. I started in 2006. It is now March 2006. I think I started with them in May. So I'm literally 2 months away from 20 years as an educator with NASM. And within that time, I've taught at numerous NASM workshops, numerous conferences throughout the United States and internationally. And I've had the chance to develop content and meet with a lot of personal trainers. And when I go and I do these workshops and I do these courses, I ask the question, where are you from? What's your name? And why become a personal trainer? The only time people don't say this one is because so many other people have said it before, so they have to come up with something else to say. It's to help people. That's the number one reason. The number one reason people say they want to become a personal trainer is because they want to help people. Well, what do they want to help people do? I think we can go down a list of a lot of things, and that kind of feeds into my point that I want to make on number 3, but let's get into this. They want to help people get stronger. They want to help people get smarter. What do you mean smarter? That's what I said, and I said it right. They want to get smarter because we do know that the more that you exercise, the more that helps your brain. It creates this BDNF, this brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which allows dendrites to grow and your brain connections to get stronger. It allows you to be smarter. It's going to build confidence. It builds confidence in us as people, but it also helps our clients become more confident as clients within our world, within their own bodies. Live longer, live better, activities of daily living. We're going to address blood lipids and cholesterol and metabolic health and bone strength. And yeah, sure, maybe somebody's preferred look, but definitely their preferred feel. So when we say we want to help people, we are there to do that. And we do it in a very specific way. We're not there like the physicians are. We're not there like the emergency department. We're not the pit out there doing this. We are working with people in a different way where we're allowing health to be not reactive, but proactive. And we know this as personal trainers. And that is something that drives us and says, let me help you, because I don't want you to experience what I saw my mom or dad experience. I don't want you to experience what I had family members and loved ones go through. I know if I can build strength, I know that if I can build my health proactively, then I can help other people. And this is the number one reason that I get feedback on why people become personal trainers. I'm going to go with number 2, which was the number one reason I started, not the reason I stuck around for 2 decades, but the reason I started was that free gym membership. Baby, you know that's true. Facts are facts, and I cannot hide away from it. I knew that, first of all, it was a cool job, and I wanted to have a cool job because being a personal trainer seemed like a cool job. But secondly, it was a free gym membership, and I was going to be working at the place that I wanted to be anyway. But here's the thing. That place that you go to work turns into your home away from home, and you start to build that community within there, which we will talk about in a later point as well. But that free gym membership, listen, I'm not going to knock it. It might be the reason people start as a personal trainer. It is not the reason that they stay. And let's get into more reasons why it's really valuable to become a personal trainer. Because in personal training, you have the ability to, number 3, specialize. You get to specialize in something. And well, why is that valuable? Because I can specialize as a performance coach. I want to focus on performance, and maybe I work with youth and I work with high school athletes, or progress through my education, not just through certification, to start working my way up to work with college and work with professional athletes. And those are all things that people really enjoy. They really dig into this component. But that's just one component, because there are people who not just focus on performance, but maybe they focus on correctives. And that's something I did a lot, especially earlier on in my career, is focusing on correctives. What can I do to help you move, feel, and function better? And that's what every trainer should do. It's just corrective strategies allow us to do that on a different level. We can focus on weight loss. We can focus on bodybuilding. We can focus on event preparation. Event preparation could be things like television, music, videos, film, modeling. But there are events that go beyond that. So some big events like weddings that come up. So event preparation is something I like in one way, because event preparation allows you to really develop your SMART goals, especially that last part of the SMART goals T. You have a timeline. So you can be specific, measurable, make sure that they're attainable, make sure they're relevant to what you're trying to do. But my goodness, that time-bound component, that's not going to change. So that's really, really fun when you have an event that you're preparing for. And those events could be things like fitness games like High Rocks and Spartan and other things like that. Those are important. Let's not forget, and maybe you've never heard of this. I was listening to the daily podcast from the New York Times the other day, and they were talking about face maxing. Y'all, it's a thing, but let's go into it. You are allowing people, you're going to go into body maxing so you can start bod mugging the people around you. And if you did not see the thing on Saturday Night Live, then, and I know this is supposed to be evergreen, but last Saturday, I didn't care for the sketch. And then I learned the next day, literally what that sketch was about. And I was like, you cannot be for serious. So I take a picture, I show it to my daughter, and my daughter's like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. And I went, what? It's a thing. It's a thing. I'm not really here to have you bod mogging and bod maxing people, but it is hilarious that people are out there living their lives as if that's the only thing you can do. All right. You can be a generalist. I think everybody needs to have the ability to be a generalist. And that's fair, but you've got the opportunity to be much more specific. You can focus on new moms. You can focus on physique. You can focus on, I don't know, go back to diabetes, cardiorespiratory, Parkinson's, stroke, the differently abled. And you can specialize in those things. And then you have a narrower market where you get to focus on. I really love working with seniors, and that has been an absolute joy for me. And I find that very valuable because when I was young, I wanted to be like, oh, give me the athletes and give me the TV and movie folk. And now I'm like, can you just send Maury back over? I love working with Maury, and let's let's make sure that he's up and able to take advantage and live the activities of daily living in a very, very fruitful way, and limit the amount of sitting and build his strength so he can continue. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, I guess this one goes without saying, but you need to say it. You can make money doing this. And when I say make money, I'm not talking about make money. Yes, it can be a side hustle for a lot of people, but I'm talking about make a living. Make a living, because back in 2002, when I got my first job as a personal trainer, I made $7 an hour on the fitness floor, which was in New York City. So I know a lot of people outside of that working on the floor were not making $7 an hour. I was making $7 an hour in New York City. Not a lot of money for New York City, but I can tell you something. I was able to spend that $7 real quick, but that $7 on the floor per hour, I could do a session, and that session was, I remember making $22 an hour per person, and thinking, that's 3 floor hours. Your boy's got to come up with a way to train more people, spend less time on the floor, and spend more time making more money. And then I remember my buddy was a trainer. He got a second job. I remember he was doing stock at a store, a local store. And I thought, well, man, I need to make more money too. And I thought, why would I get another job where he was making $10 or $15 an hour? Why don't I just train more people? And so I went all in. I rose through the levels. And I remember the second level, it was $28, $28, and then an hour. And then the third level was $34 an hour. And then finally, the peak, the precipice that you would ever be able to do at that gym that I worked at was $40 an hour. And boy, oh boy, I was waking up early. I remember I was like, I will never do a 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. session at 8 a.m. I was a 3 till 11. You put me in the afternoon, I'll close this joint down. But I will not get up early until you started paying me more. And I was like, what time? What do they want? Let me see if I can get down there and help out. And so I was then doing more volume. I was motivated to do more time and train more people. And then I changed jobs and eventually started making $90 an hour. And then I went independent and I was able to start making more than that. And I'm telling you, this is not a job where you fill out and you're able to do just 40, 50 hours and you don't get more money for doing the, no time and a half because you did more than a full day's work. And you don't get paid when you don't train. So when you get sick and you're not available or you want to go on vacation, for goodness sakes, it's a challenge. But a lot of times we think, man, I've done a good job and I've made money, but I don't want to leave because I don't want to spend money. And I think make sure that you schedule and plan your breaks and take them. Otherwise, it's a great job, but it don't matter when you burn out and you don't have that job anymore. Excuse me. All right. So this episode of the NASM CPT podcast is brought to you by NASM One, the membership for trainers and coaches. Members enjoy unlimited access to hundreds of career resources. Get the Edge app to schedule and program clients. Enjoy half-off certifications and specializations, access to free CEUs and more. All of this for just $35 a month. Go to nasm.org/membership to learn more about NASM One. So I want to talk about the next few things that are part of what we're going to talk about when it comes to it. It's enjoyable being a personal trainer. But a lot of these next 3 are a derivative or a variation that Daniel Pink provides in one of his books. And it is a variation of Ryan and Dietschy's self-determination theory. And so I want to go into Daniel Pink's version, basically, and then we'll discuss these. So I'm going to say number 5 is autonomy. People love autonomy. This is a means of motivation. This is what happens to motivate people within a workplace, giving autonomy. Autonomy is the freedom, the ability for you yourself to decide things, to make plans, to create programs, to work with the client, learn about them, make a decision that is going to positively affect them, and avoid decisions that will adversely affect them, because you are the ones making those decisions. But you don't have to run those over to the fitness manager or the general manager, personal training manager. You can if you need support, that's always there. But you have the autonomy to create your programs yourself. You have the autonomy to say, hey, give me some more leads. I want to fill my schedule or not. You have the autonomy to identify whether or not you want to train at a certain time and bring people on board and who you're going to train. And yes, sometimes you're going to agree to train people and you're going to think, didn't care for that very much. I enjoy the money, but working with this person is lousy. And that happens. Sometimes you're going to work with people you don't want to work with. And what's great is that when you can finally make the money that you need to make, then you stop holding on to people that you don't need to be working with. And I'm going to tell you, first of all, if somebody makes you uncomfortable, just stop worrying about the money. You need to work on yourself. You need to work on taking that person and saying, there's got to be somebody else here that can train that person. I'm not the right trainer for you, and pass them along. Right. So one of the joys of autonomy is having the freedom to control that and saying, listen, that karma is there. If you give to someone, somebody will return and provide for you. So don't freak out. You're going to lose money. You're going to be okay, but only when you feel better that you're not working with somebody that makes you feel uncomfortable, gives you the ick, or you feel like isn't the right person for you, whatever that means. And maybe somebody is looking to be a bodybuilder and you're like, it's just not my thing. It's not my type of training that I want to do. Then you can move on from that. Usually people protect yourself. Like they say in boxing and fight sports, protect yourself at all times. The other one is working towards mastery. And when it comes to motivation, there's something that one of the greatest motivators is mastery, to be very productive and efficient and technically skilled at what you do for your work. Now, when it comes to these things, these motivations exist outside of personal training, but personal training does allow for that. So what is that form of mastery? Well, I know that I'm going to get your technique down solid. I'm going to get my technique down solid. I'm going to learn more when it comes to whatever, kettlebells or Olympic lifting, or how I'm going to work with suspension trainers and what I'm going to do for people whose knees collapse and when they squat and they tell me that they have some knee pain. What can I do? Because I'm looking at them saying, I don't address pain, but I can address your movement. I think your movement might be part of what's going on there. I want to get better at that. And I want to see it. And I want to know when somebody raises their arm overhead and they say that doesn't feel right. And I can have them just change direction, change their movement, or address this in a different way where they still benefit from our time together. And the more I do that, the more masterful I get, because I'm developing. And when we get better at what we do, there's so much pride that goes into that we really connect to our jobs because of the sense of mastery. So working towards mastery. Now, what that also means is spend money on you when it comes to being better at this job. Spend money on you. Go to conferences, go to workshops, take online courses. Do what you need to do to learn more. And it's always nice when you get some NASM CEUs out of it. Thank you. That'd be amazing. But sometimes I've taken courses that just tickle my fancy that are, I'm in New York, so I have access to a lot of things that come through, and they do things for different types of therapists that I can't actually legally do. I want to learn what they do so I have a better understanding of the human body and how it works. And maybe I'm not doing anything therapeutic, but I'm learning how I can make that application to me, to my clients, without putting my hands on somebody, right? Without doing a therapy. But what can I do where the exercise allows you to be better at functioning? And then the final one is that sense of purpose. You are doing good, and you're doing good for people, and you're doing good for society. And I think that the sense of purpose, mastery gives you a sense of purpose. Mastery gives you that, right? Autonomy builds that strength and the freedom that I want. Mastery says I'm good at something, and I have a purpose to provide that to other people. I'm doing better. I'm doing good for people. I'm doing good for society. And I want that in my life. Number 8, develop community and give back to the community with the skill set that you have. The people you work with at the gyms, they become your people, not just the personal trainers who are there and the fitness instructors that can become part of your community and your people. Those are your people. But also the community of people that you teach, you coach, you train, become part of your community as well. And then we build beyond that, where you say, okay, well, maybe I want to start teaching classes, or maybe I want to offer my services to help raise money for local schools or for charities. And maybe you can pick up a few clients along the way. I know my wife does this. We have 3 kids in 3 different schools, and they always do these fundraisers. And my wife just provides my services and says, all right, if somebody wants to do an auction, and part of the auction is Rick is going to do 3 sessions, one-on-one sessions, or you can do the virtual training with him through the NASM Edge app. Holla. So you can do those things with Rick. And if that works out, then they can keep training with me. It's a great way. I've picked up clients before, but I've also done is raised a lot of money for the schools for people to come in. And when people come in, I just say, hey, thank you for donating to the school. Let's get going. Right. And then we do our 3 sessions. There's no program. I can't program for 3 sessions, but we do a little assessment, and we have 3 good workouts based on the assessment. So I make sure that I'm focusing on what they want to focus on, and I'm avoiding anything that may be potentially contraindicated for them, potentially hazardous, that I want to be aware of. So they got to talk to me first, but then let's get some workouts in. But that goes from the schools as a way of giving back to other charities, if you want to do that as well, providing a way to raise money for St. Jude's. That's the first charity I ever remember learning about when I was a little kid in Florence, actually when I was a little kid in Tuscumbia, Alabama, and St. Jude's. We would just raise money for St. Jude's. And I remember these community events where we'd raise money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And I know that there's a way. I've helped to raise money for sick youth by doing classes that people would come to my class, they'd pay for the class, would take the money from the class and help support youth that needed help. So these are things that you can do. Maybe pick up a few clients along the way, but that is besides the point. Build community and give back to community. That's number 8. Number 9, develop content and share that content. Now, this from my social media influencers in part. So you want to develop content and share content. Well, you need to be certified, because it is so to hear people on social media without any real comprehension, understanding, education. You work as a personal trainer. You're not just some influencer that's out there spewing content because they're adversarial, that they're going against the grain. Going out there and providing good content that helps to serve people, that's huge. But not just social media. You can go on there and you can develop course content. Are you really good at something? Develop content. Develop content, and you can create workshops, and you can create courses, and you can provide those courses on learning management systems or through YouTube, and you can create workshops, and you can go and rent space or plead for free space at your local gym and a studio. And then say maybe a couple of your trainers can come for free, and I'll provide them with everybody else that attends with NASM CEUs. You can do like everybody else in America does. You can have a podcast. Yep. Join the club. Just come on in. The water's fine. No, not crowded here. Come on over. Then create a podcast. For who? For your community that you develop. That's your community. That's the one that you've been working with, and you're giving back. And take time. Short podcast, 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes once a week. Just to provide content that gives and supports people in your community, and watch that community grow. All right. And you're going to grow to the point that you can eventually maybe even do mentorship content. Mentorship where you bring in younger, inexperienced trainers, and you show them the way, Obi-Wan. You show them, this is what I did. This is how I built my business. This is what I've seen through my time here. And I want to give back to you to help develop you. And you can do that. And then finally, I think number 10 is when you've been doing it a while, you can go into entrepreneurship. And you can do this within an industry that you love. It allows others to follow your path, but not just mentorship, where you're coaching somebody. This one, you bring them on and you employ them, and then you send them out and direct them. This is how we build a business, and you're helping me with mine. This is how you build clients. Let me help you build your clients. I'm not just mentoring you and then saying, go back to your gym and figure it out. I am employing you and mentoring you and saying, this is how we're going to build my business together, because you are developing this business and others can follow that. And you're going to build your business by learning from others. You're going to learn how to market. You're going to learn the holes that you want to fill in the market as well. You're going to say, these are things that I like, that I want to do, that I feel a good sense of purpose at. And I don't see other people doing it. And then you go through and say, is it time for me to create my own? I want to move on away from employment from somebody else, because I believe that I can provide, because I've built community. I have mentors that have helped me develop this, and I have mentored people that will come to work for me, that I love, that I trust, that I need, and they will help you because you're their mentor. And before you do all that, you got to learn the ropes. You got to learn the ropes. You got to go through the struggles. You got to go through the hustle. You got to learn, how do I build my clientele? You got to learn, how do I talk to people? You got to learn to not be afraid to show your value and then ask for money in return. You've got to educate people along the way. You've got to develop people along the way. You got to bring them into your passion when it comes to fitness. And things will fall into place, but they fall into place because you developed it, not because you just got certified and people will do it. And I just built a gym and people just come. And that's just not how it's going to work. It's going to work because you laid the foundations. And to be an entrepreneur, and that might be opening your own gym or doing your own courses and content. And that could just be going independent as a personal trainer and doing it on your own. But you have the ability to do that once you've got some really strong legs, not literally, figuratively, when it comes to your business underneath you. And then you've got the strength to stabilize everything, to know where things are supposed to go, to align everything. Boy, these metaphors for the body and the business are pretty good. Pretty good. So let's recap all of this, shall we? Let's go through my top 10. Here we go with number 1. We want to help people. Number 2, free gym membership, but it turns into your home away from home. Number 3, the ability to specialize and to develop skill sets. Number 4, you can make money and you can make a living. Yep. Number 5, autonomy. 6, working towards mastery. 7, give you a sense of purpose. 8, develop and give back to community. 9, develop content that you can share with others. And then 10, become an entrepreneur in a field that you love, in an industry that you have a passion for, but only once you put in the time and developed. So then you can go out on your own and do it yourself. Thanks for listening, and thanks to our producer, Eric Sorensen. Like, subscribe, share with your friends and family, and leave a 5-star review. If you want to reach out to me, hit me up. You can do so on Instagram at dr.rickritchie or email me rick.ritchie@nasm.org. Keep inspiring people to fitness. Thanks for listening. This has been the NASM CPT Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to NASM CPT Podcast. Like, share, and subscribe for more expert insights that empower you in your fitness career. Stay strong and stay curious.